All right, hello there. What's up? Happy Sunday, happy end of the week. Today we're gathered here once more. Long time no see, right? Long time no see. We're going to be discussing a couple of video game news or gaming news, industry of gaming news of the week. Okay, we're going to be talking about Stop Killing Games. We're going to be talking about Subnautica 2. We're going to be talking about the new cast of the Zelda movie, among other things that I found interesting that happened this week as well. So, my apologies. Just give me a couple of minutes to share the stream on YouTube and so on and so forth. Jeez. I'll share it in my YouTube. Let me create a community post here to share the stream, tell people that I'm live right now. Okay, insert. Let me put this live here. Announcements. Streaming now. Boom. Let's put it here. Streaming now. What else? Oh yeah, the name of it, of course. Let's put it here. Subnautica 2. Mortal Kombat. Let's see. I'll put this in my community tab and my Discord, and we'll get started right up. Okay, let me put this here. Now. Boom. And my Discord. Streaming now, and let me share the link right here. There we go. Yeah. Okay, good. Let me put the link here. Let me tell everyone, Subnautica. Yeah, there it is. Yes, sir. Okay, let's start. So let's start by talking about Stop Killing Games, right? Now, in case you don't know what Stop Killing Games is, this is EU, an European Union initiative as well, and this initiative is also being done in the UK, where the objective is basically create laws that protects consumers against corporation killing games, basically. As you might have known or heard in online and whatnot, there's been cases in which video game companies sell a video game. They sell you something. They sell you the product. You play the game, and for some arbitrary reason, they will end the support of the game entirely. They will even pull it off the stores, and you will no longer be able to access the game. One of the most popular one of the most popular examples of this being the case was a game called The Crew, where Ubisoft just pulled the support of the game and is not even playable offline. So basically, the people that bought the game is not able to play it again, ever again. And Stop Killing Games is an initiative that is trying to change that for sure. Hey, Voidcast, what's up? So, FYI, obviously, I fully support this initiative. It is an initiative that is fighting for consumer rights in the gaming space, and I do also think that uh, video game corporations, video game companies have way too much leverage on their side against us. I have seen insanely arbitrary and outright crazy um, agreements for the use of their services and their products. Like Blizzard can basically ban you for whatever reason if they choose to, or they can withdraw the product from your hands if they want to for whatever reasons and stuff like that. So that is absolutely unacceptable, I think. So that being the case, I am very happy to see this. As you can see here, the official X account for Stop Killing Games just announced on July 19, yesterday, that the initiative for the European Union is cruising to up to 1.5 million signatures. This is insane, to be honest. We have been rallying for this for pretty much up to a month or a month and a half, more or less. And it's no joke. Like you can see here, this is the EU initiative. This is where people put the signatures in. Signed European Citizens Initiative. Deadline July 31, 2025. And down here, 1.4 million signatures was the ultimate goal, and it already surpassed the signatures, like the giga goal of all of it, because there was like a minimum threshold, which was 1 million signatures. Then was another threshold, which was 1.25 million signatures, and we're already at 1.4 million signatures. So Ross, who is the lad that is behind the whole initiative, and he has been supporting this, I think, for 10 years or so, something like that, which is insane. Said that we needed the most amount of signatures, not only to show the support, the overwhelming support for the initiative, of course, but also to account for false flags, bogus signatures, stuff like that. People that might enter their info incorrectly, or people that is just getting into, putting on signatures on bad faith. Because at the end of the day, this is an European Union initiative, so only people from the European Union can sign this up. If you are in the United States or the Americas, South America, Canada, whatever it is, you can't participate in this. But I think us in the American continent and the gamers in all parts of the world are leaning upon our EU gaming brothers and sisters to make this happen, because it happens to be that sometimes when the European Union passes some kind of laws, that has a domino effect upon the world, and it is implemented in the rest of the world as well. So that's pretty great news, and I'm pretty happy about this. So imagine, like, in 3-4 years, we're gonna have this kind of consumer rights in the gaming space that we so desperately need, and we will have games that we will love, and we will be protected by law, that we will be able to have the games in a playable state, And I wonder if especially the games that people took so much time to play, like MMOs, for example. MMOs were a part of this conversation a lot, I think, and I'm pretty sure that if this law passes and then it has an echo effect in the United States, which is one of the biggest markets in terms of video games, then like games like World of Warcraft, games like Final Fantasy 14, they will be, when it comes the time that where they will end the support for the games, because one day it will come, regardless of the fact that, for example, World of Warcraft seems to be like the eternal game. It has been it's been up to like 21 years already, since 2004, but eventually it will end, and they already announced that. They're doing the last 3 expansions, which is Warrior Within, not Warrior Within. Warrior Within is Prince of Persia. Is a Prince of Persia game. What was the name of the expansions? They were going to release 3 more expansions, and then that was going to be the end of the story of World of Warcraft. Now, I don't know if they are going to continue supporting the game after that. I don't know if they will continue supporting that after they release the 3 last expansions. Hey Simply, what's up? Thank you so much for the membership, mate. Last expansions, let's see. I forgot what were the name of them. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Give me access. Oh my god. Yes. Come on. There we go. Bruh, come on. Okay, what the hell's going on with this? The eternal captcha. Come on! Jesus Christ. Okay, the War Within. Okay, the War Within, Midnight and the Last Titan, yeah. Okay, so imagine the World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14, you being able to maintain the game after, by you I mean the community. Being able to still play the game after, the end of support. They close the Blizzard shuts the servers down. Square Enix shuts the servers down. You're still going to be able to play the games. And what's interesting about this is that some people was saying like, well, no, it's not fair to the developers or whatever. And there was also some kind of some sort of misinformation going around, because some people was not interpreting the initiative like it clearly states. And obviously one of the biggest examples about this was, the content creator Pyra Software. But, I have a friend in my Discord that plays Phantasy Star Online 2 on a private server that is maintained by the community. And apparently there's, as far as I understand, like there's this rich lad that loves the game and he pays for the private server himself, and he just opened it up for people to join the server and whatnot for free, and they have their community there, their little community, just enjoying the game still after I don't know how many years. Let me see, when was Phantasy Star Online released. Let me see. Oh, sorry. This is it. Probably was it. It's not the second one. It was I know it's Phantasy Star Online, but it's not the second one. The second one is still going. I think it probably was the first one then. Maybe it is the first one. My mistake. So he plays Phantasy Star Online. Probably it's probably this one, or is it this one? I don't know if this is on PC or not, or well, regardless of the fact, I'm gonna have to ask him which one is it. But I know he plays like a Phantasy Star Online MMO on PC. That is maintained by the community, you know, after the support and everything. I mean, MMORPGs are kind of gray zone for me. Yeah, some old MMORPGs have private servers for over 20 years, like Lineage 2, etc. PSO2 doesn't let you log in with American IP. Oh, really? Well, that might be the case then. Although I don't know how PSO2 would allow you to get, you know, the private servers online, but at the same time, they, you know, World of Warcraft have had private servers before, you know, so maybe it is like that. Like, regardless of the fact there's like a parallel private server for PSO2, they found a way to make private servers out of the client or something. But yeah. What's up with with Software Pirate? Software Pirate. Well, he was in the limelight for the past couple of weeks because he's strongly opposing the Stop Killing Games initiative, or Stop Destroying Games, video games initiative. Because he thinks he will make the development of video games extremely difficult, and I don't know if he said also it was going to be extremely expensive to do. I think that was another person, but he basically says that it was going to make the development of video games extremely difficult and unfair on the developer side. We would have to review the things that he said, but I think overall, that's his sentiment. When what actually Stop Destroying Video Games is trying to do is just give consumers the right to play the games after the company decides to end the support for their games. If they shut down the servers, you will be able to host your own servers, community servers and whatnot. This initiative is not pretending for developers to continue endless support for the games in terms of maintaining servers or anything like that. It's just trying to give consumers the right to play the games after the companies end the support, be it by shutting down the servers or not selling the game anymore, or you requiring like a login to be able to use the game. They will be, if this initiative passes in the EU, they will be required to put end of life support measures, so you, the player who purchased the game, will be able to play it after the company just ends the support. So you don't in measures as you won't be required to log in, you know, or if you need to log in there, you know, the access to the game won't be prevented by, you know, an internet connection or something. If the servers shut down, that won't prevent you from from playing the game. If it is like a MMORPG or something like that, the community will be able to support the game after by hosting their own servers and so on and so forth. So that's basically it. At least on Switch, it's Asian IP only. I see. Oops, my bad. LOL. So yeah, MMORPG private servers I don't really care about. Single player games should not have any login or online requirements ever. Well, some of them do. I mean, I'm not entirely against everything that companies do, because I do understand that companies want to prevent the piracy of their games by implementing online measures. Like, you have to log in for the game not to be for people to stop people from pirating the games. And I remember, Diablo 3, for example, was never pirated, or they took a long time to be able to pirate it because you needed to log into the game. And I mean, it's not like I'm advocating for single player games to do that. You could have the offline mode, of course, but I don't think I don't think it's like the most terrible thing in the world. There's more aggravating things that video game companies do, like that Blizzard clause in their terms of services, where it says that they can basically, ban you and take and null your purchase of any game by whatever reason they consider. If they sneeze and they think, oh, Simply, we don't like Simply, then boom, you won't have access to the game ever again, because they just decided that was the case. Even if you purchase the game, you didn't you didn't talk shit on chat. You were not misbehaving in chat or telling people to delete themselves or anything like that. No. One day Blizzard said, you know what? I don't know. I feel like banning someone. I feel like I want to be a tyrant today. So let's just take the game out of this individual, and they can just do that because that's their TOS. And lobby-based games should be converted to peer-to-peer or private servers. Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the plan of. It's all in the hopes they have end of life plans for the games, regardless of you are always online, you have online or offline capabilities. I mean, if you have offline, if you have a single player game and you have offline mode, I mean, you're golden already, right? When you shut down the servers, you're still going to be able to play the game. So the companies that have offline modes for the games, they are golden right now. Obviously, the ones that don't have any kind of end of life measures in their games, implemented in their games, obviously are the ones that are lobbying against this initiative. As Gaben said, piracy is a service issue. Switch to hardware bans right now for trying to rump. Oh yeah, the switch to hardware bans. Yeah, I think that's really crazy that Switch, Nintendo is able to, it has so much power that they can break remotely your console if you're doing something that they don't like. I mean, I don't think they should have the right to break your console, even if you're playing a pirated product, because at the end of the day, I mean, sure, you're pirating a game that's bad on its own. That's on the legal side, of course. But you clearly purchased the hardware legitimately. It's not like you stole the hardware, so they'd have no right. You having purchased the console to break it remotely at all. Now, obviously, they can get away with it because we are basically naked in terms of consumer rights in the gaming space, but they shouldn't be able to do that. Now, the good thing about this is that I know that in Brazil, they are, the government is said like, hey, you can't do that. So that's at least there in a part of the world there's a governmental entity that is actually concerned about this kind of practices. But yeah, that's really bad. As in that's yeah, possibly can't even run games. No. If they brick remotely the console, it's like a very expensive paperweight, basically. That's it. You might as well. I mean, maybe in a couple of years or some, you know, a very a cracked kind of lad that can, you know, reverse the bricking of the consoles. But as it is today, yeah, they can do that. Sony has a similar power, but they don't flex it as brazen. Can Sony brick your console in any shape, way, or form remotely? The term purchase ownership was changed over years. All you own is a license. Okay, so you're telling me that when you purchase a PlayStation 5 and you agree to the terms of service, you're agreeing to a license to use the hardware. Is that what you're telling me? All you own is a license. Yes, they literally spell it out. Shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what? How would it be if the next time you purchase a fridge, you know, a refrigerator, it turns out that Samsung or LG or whatever company that you're purchasing from tells you that you just have the license to use the fridge, okay? So, oh shit, your license expires in 2 years. And but you know the fridge is on warranty, has warranty for 10 years. Okay. But you only have license to use the fridge for 2 years. So after 2 years, the fridge won't start. We will cut the power remotely to your fridge. So all your food will spoil. But I have 10 years of warranty. What's going on? Yeah, but your license expired up. You have to purchase a new license if you want to continue using your fridge. But I have the fridge in my house. Yeah, but I mean, you agreed to the terms. You agreed to the terms. Well, if you didn't want this to happen, you shouldn't have agreed to the terms, mate. What's going on? On like page 20 plus. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, because obviously, I mean, who the fuck reads these terms of service? It's very few people read the terms of services. Very few people. Obviously, if you study, if you're a lawyer or you're involved in these legal themes, you read this kind of things. But gamers just want to game. If you, you know, when you purchase a new computer or you purchase a PS5, the first thing you want to do when you get home is play video games. You're not gonna be, you know, scrolling. Oh, well, you scroll the page, you know, to say yes, TOS, yes. Let me play Helldivers. Shut the fuck up. You know, we don't read these things. But regardless of the fact that we don't read them, I think. Still, it's pretty unfair. Like the balance is tipped so far to you know, to Sony and to video game companies and corporations. So it's so far tipped in their favor that it's like ridiculous, I think. Oh, you saw what a shitty statement Ubisoft made, I think, yesterday. They said, "Oh, players love microtransactions. They find it fun." Yeah, listen, I haven't seen that, but I'm not surprised they would say that at all, of course. And we will actually, we will be talking about Ubisoft a little bit further down the stream, because I read something in an article about Ubisoft that is kind of similar. And it's in the same realm to that, actually. And to get into a rabbit hole of non-gaming licenses. Oh, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's another topic, but yeah. I'm just making like an analogy, you know? because of the end of the day is hardware. You know, a fridge. Let's say you buy a smart fridge. It's the same thing. I mean, you're purchasing an appliance, but that appliance is yours. I mean, and that's the end of it. The company shouldn't have any right to, you know, hijack the use of your appliance because you paid the money for the appliance. There are hundreds. You made the purchase. It's yours. That's how the trade works. When you go to a supermarket, you buy an apple. You pay the money. The apple's yours. End of story. And it's same thing with everything else in the world that you use money for. That's yours. That's it. Ownership. It's been a concept since, I don't know, since the currency was invented. That precedes even banks. There are hundreds of companies that do what you described. One of the last examples was a smart home company that went bankrupt, who got bought out, and new owners sent a message saying, pay $100 plus a year or your smart devices won't work outside manual buttons. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, the thing is, here's the thing. If you have a free market economy and you have other options, and you have another brand that you know, have smart appliances or smart devices, and they're not asking you to pay $100 a year, or else, then you're just going to go with another service. Now, obviously, if this becomes the industry standard as it is becoming gaming, then that's a problem. And that's why these kind of initiatives are so important for us. So this is one of the biggest W's that we have right now as gamers. This is insane. And I have to say that this wouldn't have happened if you know, not only Ross made that that video that he made, you know, basically calling pirate software out, but also the help of the Ackman of you know, Penguin Zero, or you know, Charlie, Mutahar, you know, a bunch of YouTubers that certainly helped a lot spreading the word about this initiative and rallying a lot of people that actually can take action into this kind of thing. So this is absolutely fantastic. And I hope that this grows even more, because the initiative ends the 31 of this month, July 31, or July 31st. So yeah, this could get easily in like what? In 11 more days, this can get to 1.5 million. I think it could get there. Free market is disappearing. A lot of companies are owned by parent companies that either own competing brands or are on closed terms privately and hostile in public as a show. Well, yeah, I think, you know, we've been having a sort of an illusion of, well, here's the thing. The free market still exists, but what I'm seeing is that what we think is a competing market is becoming more and more into very, how can I say it? Like, for example, Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard, and they have to put it in gaming terms, right? They have acquired Activision Blizzard and many other gaming studios. Now they were under investigation for, you know, antitrust policies and whatnot. They saying they were basically a monopoly and whatnot. They got out of that. Basically, they said, okay, well, fine, you can purchase the thing, and we're not going to insist on saying that you're a monopoly or whatever. But it is true that what we perceive as a competitive market is becoming like a very it's becoming the whole market of companies are being purchased by bigger companies, and you have the illusion that because you don't hear about these things in the news, or you just don't hear it at all, that, well, I can purchase from this or from this or from this, but at the end of the day, it turns out that 50% of those companies that you purchase from are owned by a bigger corporation, and 50% of the other options are part of a bigger corporation. Like, for example, I wanted to buy a new cell phone, and it turns out that Motorola, which used to be a U.S. company, was purchased by a Chinese company. I think they were bought by Tencent, of all things. So you will think, oh, I heard that Motorola is like a U.S. company. They are like Apple, for example. Well, not in terms of how big it is, but it's a U.S. company. Well, it turns out that Motorola got bought by a Chinese, by the Chinese, like a couple of years ago. So, these are things that you don't know. But I found out because I was doing some research about that. So yeah. And wasn't Google semi-ordered to sell some of their services because they have too big of a share? I think the issue with Google is that they are saying that they have to sell. It's not that they have to sell. They have to split the company. Because yes, they are accusing them of having antitrust issues, especially with YouTube. Like, they're basically saying, you need Google or Alphabet. I think that's the overarching name of the company. That YouTube has to become its own company outside of, like, it has to split from Alphabet for them to continue operating and not be considered like a monopoly or something like that. Antitrust law, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Like, Google is, YouTube is super powerful in terms of a company, and obviously Alphabet is like insanely huge as well. Antitrust laws have a loophole that if you provide a superior service, you can keep going with basically a monopoly. Yep. Yeah, and unfortunately, like, it's going to depend on each country, of course. I think the European Union has more solid antitrust laws than the United States. But yeah, it is it depends. It depends on which country you are, I think. So yeah, that's gonna be that's the right when I wanted to talk about. Stop killing games. This is a huge W for us. So let's hope that this goes into the European Parliament, which is, I think, where they're going to discuss this and, make some actionable laws that protect consumers over the EU, and eventually, hopefully, that will have a domino effect upon the world, and it will land also in, legislations all over the world, in the United States, in Canada, whatever it is. All right. So now let's talk about this. The Zelda movie just got the main two characters, or the main two actors for the live action Zelda movie were announced, which is this lass and this lad, Bob Bragenson and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. Miyamoto himself announced this on the official Nintendo X account, and he said, "This is Miyamoto here. I am pleased to announce for the live-action film of the Legend of Zelda, Zelda will be played by Bro Bragenson's son, and Link by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth's son, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing both of them on the big screen. The film is scheduled to be released in theaters on May 7, 2027. Thank you for your patience. Now, this is funny. I think this is fantastic. I think this is a great cast. I think these are fairly unknown actors. I've never seen them in any movie, I think. So they're fairly new in their careers. Now, obviously, we can't talk about this without mentioning Hunter Schafer, that, as you know, is a trans woman actress. And before these two lads were even announced as the official, the OG cast members for the movie, there was a lot of talk on X and on the internet about Hunter Schafer being a part of the movie. Now, obviously, this was not the case at the end. Now, I'll say this. I personally didn't feel particularly strongly against Hunter Schafer being in the movie in whatever role she could have been. I personally didn't feel that strongly against that. However, I will say that I did know, since everybody was talking about this, and at least, gamers and, on X and stuff, I knew that this was not going to happen. Because, and this actually reinforces why I think this was not going to happen. Because Nintendo is extremely protective and jealous of their IPs, okay? So Hunter Schafer is very how can I say it? Controversial. It's a very controversial figure, So there's two things here. Like I said, Nintendo is it's very protective of their IPs and their company and how they portray themselves, who gets involved with them and whatnot. So there's a very important thing to notice here, and is that Nintendo made the announcement for the two actors involved in the Zelda movie in the official Japanese, the OG X account, the Japanese Nintendo account, the OG account, their account. They made it first in Japanese and then they did it in English, saying this is Miyamoto, blah blah blah. They didn't make the announcement in Nintendo of America, in the Nintendo of America X. Now, why do I think this is an important detail to notice? It's because Nintendo Japan doesn't immerse itself with politics of any kind. I don't know about Nintendo of America because I haven't checked that out just yet. But they don't want that kind of attention. And Nintendo is not obliged to follow political trends or how can I say it? Or hire Hunter Schafer because of whatever reason. Especially if it's going to bring, controversy to the movie they're making. Even though it's been made in the United States, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the studio lobbies for someone else to be the stars of this movie, be it Hunter Schafer or anybody else. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the person or the people who have the last word on this issue is Nintendo Japan. That's it. It's Miyamoto and the CEO and the board of directors of Nintendo. It's not the studio, it's not the people that is lobbying for Hunter Schafer or for whoever else that they had in mind for any of the characters of the movie. It doesn't matter. And like I said, Nintendo Japan doesn't deal in this in United States politics or identity politics or any kind of politics. They don't post about Hispanic Heritage Day or Black Lives Matters or whatever it is. And you know what? I think that's the way it should be. I think companies are a cold entity that just should do business like this. Don't get involved in politics or stuff like that. This is the way you should do it. Because first of all, it's ridiculous. Obviously, companies, when they're pandering to, ideologies or any sort of thing that is like emotionally related, they're just doing it to get to ride the wave and get your money. That's basically it. They don't care. So regardless of the fact that Nintendo can be, very harsh in some of the things, like for example, breaking your freaking Switch 2, for example, that's incredibly that shouldn't be. They shouldn't be able to do that. I think they're doing the right thing here by not getting involved in any of the the controversies that are in the United States. That's a United States thing, culture thing. They should stick to their own path and how they want to present their movies, their products. I mean, we're talking about Zelda. This is one of the most important franchise that they have for like almost 40 years or something. I think they look good. It's hilarious how some people got mad over something that was merely a rumor. The Hunter Schafer thing, yeah. The actress they got for Zelda looks pretty. Yeah, I mean they look. I think they look good for the part, and trust me, with all the makeup and the prosthetics that they were going to use, they will look alike the characters. I'm actually convinced about that. But that's the thing. I think they made the right call here. If I was in a company or a studio, a movie studio or whatever, it makes sense that you wouldn't want to work with highly controversial figures, because at the end of the day, if that hurts, ticket sales, in this case, for the movie. You want to keep working in the industry, and for you to keep on working in the industry, you have to sell tickets. And for you to sell tickets, you have to ensure that your product is not tarnished or is going to be in any shape, way, or form be talked, or your product is going to be viewed in a scope that doesn't have to do anything with the movie at all. And I'm gonna give you an example of this. Let's put an hypothetical here that Hunter Schafer or any other controversial actress or actor got casted in the movie. When the movie is released, the whole scope of the movie is going to be viewed, or in a big part, let's say half of it, is going to be viewed through the scope of this controversial cast that you did. So in a way, you're diluting the content and the essence of your movie just because you made a bad call about casting someone that you shouldn't have. And I'm talking about casting someone you shouldn't have is not because the Hunter Schafer is trans or whatever. It's just because she is a controversial figure. Same thing what happened with what's her name, the girl from Snow White. I forgot her name. Rachel Ziegler, that's the name. I didn't watch the movie, so I don't know if the movie was bad or was good or whatever. But at the end of the day, she became a controversial figure during the promotion of the movies. It wasn't even, well, he did become a little bit controversial during the even the making of the movie, because of the recasting of not the recasting, the replacement of the dwarves with CGI and everything like that, but and even herself. But everything exploded with when she started, talking shit about the original tale of Snow White, and then casting shadows upon their co-stars, talking about politics and stuff like that. Like, she tarnished the whole production, and unfortunately, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if the movie was good or not, but that significantly was a net negative for the movie overall as well. So yeah, that's just the way it is. Okay, so now let's talk about the Ubisoft thing. Okay, somebody, I think it was Lukaku or simply I was talking about what Ubisoft said recently about microtransactions. Well, we have another thing about Ubisoft, and we stop killing games of all things. Okay, look at that. The actress that the god for Zelda looks pretty. Oh, I already read that. Yeah. So, Ubisoft CEO addresses Stop Killing Games movement concerns. In brief, Ubisoft CEO... Oh, shit. My bad. Oh, it's actually refreshing the page. Okay, good. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has addressed shareholders' concerns regarding the Stop Killing Games movement. Clearly, this is a far-reaching issue, and we're working on it, he said, while also saying nothing is eternal. Wow, I'm guessing, I'm imagining why he said such a thing. Guillemot flagged that the company was implementing offline modes for the Crew sequels. Okay. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has addressed the ongoing Stop Killing Game movement, which challenges the ability of video games publishers to render games obsolete, whether by shutting servers or other means. The movement was, of course, sparked by the Ubisoft discontinuation of its 2014 driving game The Crew, which we already talked about at the beginning of the stream, and has currently attracted 1.3 million signatures on its petition to the European Commission. Well, now it's in 1.4, by the way. During the Q&A portion of Ubisoft 2025 general meeting, a shareholder raised the topic of Stop Killing Games, asking Guillemot how the company ensure a game remains playable. Okay, this is very interesting because a shareholder asked the CEO how the company ensures a game remains playable. Now, this is a very interesting phrasing here because, listen, the shareholder didn't ask, for example, why are we required to ensure that the games remain playable after we end support? No, he's saying how we ensure a game remains playable. So he's already talking in our terms, He's already talking about in Stop Killing Games terms. It's not like the other way around. Like why we should do this. No, it's like actually how are we going to do this? So in their mind, I think, or at least in the mind of one of this shareholder, he's already saying like, okay, we need to deal with this right now in terms of how are we going to make this happen? How are we going to make our games be playable after we end the support? So and ensure the remains playable. And the question, do you support the petition at the end of the day? Here's what Guillemot said according to the event's English translator. We operate in a market, and whenever we release a game, we provide a lot of support for that game. We also provide a lot of services to make sure that the game is accessible and remains playable 24/7. So we provide information regarding the game and how long the game can be played. And players and buyers are forewarned that eventually the game may be discontinued. Now, what happens with this game? There was a €1 fee proposed to all buyers of the game. For €1, they got to buy the next version. €1 is not a whole lot of money to be able to continue playing the game. And we also announced that the game will be available offline in the future, so that players could continue playing it, or could continue to play it. Here, Guillemot seems to be referring to two events that took place in September 2024, 6 months after the formation of Stop Killing Games. Here's the company announced that it was developing offline modes for the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest, the third game in the series. Secondly, the company began selling both games at a steep discount for a limited time on all platform storefronts. Guillemot continued, but this kind of issues is not specific to Ubisoft. All video game publishers are facing with that issue, and that is true. We provide a service, but nothing is written in stone, and at some point, the service may be discontinued. Nothing is eternal, and we do our best to make sure things go well for our players and buyers, because obviously support for all games cannot last forever. Now, it is what he says here. It's true, but he's obviously focusing. Like, this is the kind of corporate language that can be very misleading, because he's talking about we provide a service, but he's only saying that he provides, that Ubisoft is a service provider. He's talking about the whole company. We provide a service as Ubisoft. He's not saying that we sell games. He's saying we provide a service. He's not talking about we sell products. He's not talking about we sell video games. But nothing is written in stone. Now, it is true. Nothing is eternal, and yes. Support for all games cannot last forever. Yes, that is true on their part. That is true. But at no point, he said, they are selling video games as products. They're saying that Ubisoft is a service company. But that's an issue that we're working on. That's something that the industry at large is working on to minimize impact on players, because clearly that's something that you need to factor in. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if the whole the whole industry at large is working on this. I don't think they are. I think Ubisoft is preemptively working on this, because also they were on fire, not only because of the Crew, but also because of the whole development of the Assassin's Creed. And they I don't know if they actually reached the profit margins that they wanted with this. Sorry, if they actually reached the threshold of unit sold that they wanted to do with Assassin's Creed as Shadows. I don't know. But they were also in talks to sell the company to, I don't know if it was, I think Tencent got in the conversation or not, but they are basically in talks to either sell the company or to restructure the company as a whole, because I think they're losing a lot of money. I think the lifespan of a piece of software, whenever there is a service component, eventually, okay, a piece of software, the lifespan of a piece of software. Still, they're not talking about games as a product that you purchase. No. Whenever there's a service component, okay, well, at least they're acknowledging here that there are some of them that have a service component and there are others that don't have it. Eventually, services may be discontinued because the software may become obsolete over time. Yes, that is true. I mean, obsolete is a strong word. They don't become obsolete. Did you just discontinue the support for the service support end of the game? But it's not like they become obsolete. I mean, by that definition, I mean, an Atari could be an obsolete thing, but it's not because people still use them. Obsolescence is, I don't know. I think that that's not the right word to use. Obsolete over time? No. A lot of tools become obsolete 10, 15 years down the line and they're no longer available, and that is why we'll release a new version. Version 2, version 3. This is not fair to say. No. I mean, he's right that tools and appliances and stuff like that, for example, appliances, cell phones, computers and stuff like that can become obsolete 10, 15 years down the line for for daily use. But people still use, I mean, my grandma had a fridge that was like 40 years old and still worked. You know, it was an obsolete product. It was an obsolete appliance, but she still used it. Some people have really old computers. Yes, for daily use, they're obsolete. I mean, you can't even install the most current Windows version in them. But some people still use them for collecting purposes, for playing retro games, for a plethora of things. For developing even retro games, I mean, there is always the emulation. Yeah, but I mean, emulation was like emulation was like a community panacea to resolve an issue that should be provided by the video game companies. Like, people did emulation for the lack of the thing that should be provided by video game companies in the first place. Now, they have been doing that. I will not, because if the market wants it, the market should provide. But I think, for example, in the case of the emulation that you said, let me rephrase this. Some companies have been addressing the emulation thing. For example, Nintendo have been releasing, that you can legally play older games through the the Nintendo Online service. I don't know what's it called. Well, you can play legally the game as well if you have a copy in your own console, right? Now, they did this to address the thing about emulation. They don't like you playing any of their games with emulators. And emulation is very different in every country. Every country probably has its own laws when it comes to playing games with emulation, or they don't have them at all, because emulation at the end of the day is kind of a niche, very niche thing. But I'm going to give you another example. Bloodborne. People have been saying Bloodborne. When are we getting another Bloodborne remaster, Bloodborne remake, or whatever? Here's the thing: it is very hard to gauge when the gaming community actually wants something and actually is going to purchase it, and sometimes not. Now, in my opinion, I think if they did remaster Bloodborne and they released, then they do a re-release with a remastered version of Bloodborne, it will sell like hotcakes, for sure. In my opinion, as an outsider of the industry, but people, since that's in limbo, and I don't think it's going to happen, people resorted for emulation. So emulation, at the end of the day, was because the market didn't provide a solution for players to play the games the way they wanted to. Now, what I will say though is that regardless of that, emulation also provides additional tools that probably a Nintendo in their service will never give you. For example, when you play games with an emulator, you have the option to mod the games. There's plenty of PlayStation games, Nintendo 64 games that have downloadable higher resolution textures. So that is another side of the emulation that I think it's I don't know how Nintendo or PlayStation or any other kind of publisher, developer, or anything could account for. Maybe some mod support. I don't know how can you do mod support in consoles. I don't think that even exists or has ever existed. But if they wanted to find a way, I'm pretty sure they could find a way to implement that in consoles. That because the modding community has always been a PC thing. Emulation was primarily a PC thing. Then you could run emulators on on cell phones, in modified DS consoles and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm popping in and out because I work by myself on Sundays, not trying to get fired. Okay, no problem, mate. Well, don't remind me of Prince of Persia series. They buried the first three 3D titles. They buried the first 3D titles. Ubisoft did that. How come? Like they pulled them out of Steam or something? Seems recent to me, but the games are close to 20 years old. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and the Two Thrones, which is like the kind of the reboot trilogy, I suppose. Because mind you, Sands of Time was not the first 3D Prince of Persia game. There was another one previous to that one, which was called Prince of Persia 3D, and it was atrocious. It was really bad. Let me see if I can find it here. Prince of Persia 3D. Yeah, look at that. This was the first Prince of Persia, the first 3D Prince of Persia, and it was called literally Prince of Persia 3D. It was released in '99, and as you can see, people didn't like the game too much. But these three games, though, The Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and The Two Thrones, are insanely good games. Insanely good games. I have the discs for Sands of Time and the other two that I've bought for $10 around 2010. But outside having the disc, no digital version exists. Are you for real? Let me see on Steam. They pulled out the games? There's no way. Maybe in GOG they have them. Prince of Persia. Well, they have Warrior Within here, though. They have Warrior Within. They have Sands of Time as well. No, they do have them. They do have the games still, mate. Oh my god, yes. Okay, Warrior Within is on Steam. It's on sale right now at $1.99. So listen, if you want to get the games digitally, there's no better option than to purchase them on Steam right now, I suppose. I mean, they're on sale. It's less than $2. It's $1.99. Warrior Within. There you go. The Sands of Time is, well, it's not on sale. It's $10. And let's see. And the Two Thrones. What the fuck? Let's see if it's in GOG. Yeah, and GOG has them as well. Yeah. Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, and the Two Thrones. They're not on sale here, but they have them. Yep. Warrior Within. This is my favorite game from this trilogy. Warrior Within. Awesome game. And the Two Thrones. Yep. I'll have to look. Maybe it was recent then. Problem with all games is driver issues. Yeah, well, I will. If you're going to get the games, I would recommend you actually research that a little bit. Like read the reviews on Steam to see if people is complaining about any kind of issues, you know, if the game doesn't launch for whatever reason. And in GOG, they usually cater a little bit more towards the retro games. But it is good to do the research, you know, to see if you need like an additional patch or anything to run the games on, like in Windows 11, you need this patch to run the game or something like that. That is important. That is actually a fair concern from your perspective, because I remember that I bought I bought, you know, Dawn of War 2 on Steam, but you have to use a patch for the expansions for Retribution and what was the name of the other expansion? I don't remember. Because it turns out that if you don't use the patch, and mind you, this patch is not provided by Steam or anything. This was developed by the community, basically. If you don't use these patches, the game crashes at some point in one mission. Like in the final mission, it crashes or something like that. And I think it was because of the games were 32-bit, and you know, basically Windows 11 is 64-bit, you know, operating system. So yeah, that's what the. Oh well, the issue is that they didn't even launch because the game was 32 bits, and you basically have to emulate an older PC architecture. Oh yeah, that could be the case as well. I mean, you could run the game in a virtual machine for sure. But I think some games do have go arounds by installing a patch or something. Obviously, you have to, research and see if what you're actually getting is not a virus or whatever, malware or something. But yeah, there are get-arounds for crashes and incompatibility compatibility issues for games made by the community for the community, for sure. Hey Deadhead, what's up? They should officially patch the old games and just have them cheaper even if they are a little glitchy. Well, that's the thing, right? Because, I mean, coming back to Stop Killing Games, if the initiative passes, that is in the hands of the community. So if the game gets glitchy over time because of compatibility issues, then it's not on the on the developer or the publisher side to continue the support. That's basically support. Like, let's say, for example, let's talk about whatever game. I don't know, Helldivers 2. Let's put Helldivers 2 as an example, okay? The hypothetical Stop Killing Games passes in the EU, and the European Parliament makes legislation, and we have actual consumer rights protecting us from video game companies from killing games. And Helldivers 2, when it ends its support, it will leave the game in a playable state for the people that purchase the game. So basically, you could actually host your own private servers, or you could play offline with bots or something, for example. And 15 years pass, or 20 years pass, and we are in Windows 20 or some shit like that. And let's say you say, oh, I would like to play Helldivers 2, but shit, I don't even know if the game is going to run on the current system because whatever compatibility issues there are. Well, since it's going to depend of whatever laws are going to become the norm, right? But in principle, Stop Killing Games is not asking the companies to have endless support. So if you're saying that the companies should patch games like Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, or Warrior Within, then these games were released like almost 20 years ago, then that accounts for continuous support. And that is not something that Stop Killing Games is asking for from the companies. So I think that has to be would have to be handled by the community itself. What the fuck is Stop Killing Games? We talked about that at the beginning of the stream. You could actually rewind or skip back at the beginning of the stream and watch that section if you like. We talk about what is Stop Killing Games from beginning to end at the beginning of the stream. In my opinion, it's funny how insecure the companies are about their old products taking away from their new sales. Well, here's the thing. I think the insecurity sometimes comes from lack of confidence, which is probably the same thing. In their new product compared to the previous one. I think there's a case of that. What's the name of it? EverQuest. EverQuest is a good example. EverQuest, one of the first MMORPGs ever made, right? They did release EverQuest 2, but it turns out that people still prefer to play EverQuest 1. Now that is an example. Now here's the thing. I can understand from the perspective of the company to be protective of their new product and them not wanting to gamers to just stay on the previous product. But here's the thing. I don't think it's fair from them to decide for the players what they should or should not play. And if they are still playing an older game for whatever reason, then you have to come to a realization that the product that you made perhaps is not feeling or improving upon the wants and needs of your player base. So at the end of the day, was it worth it to make this product at the end of the day? I don't know if RuneScape has the same problem, because I see a lot of people playing old RuneScape. I see a lot of people playing old RuneScape, a lot. I don't see that many people playing newer RuneScape, and I even think they released a new RuneScape just recently. So I don't know, but it's that kind of situation. You know what I mean? If Blizzard ever releases World of Warcraft 2, will we be in a situation in which the new players are going to be playing private servers instead of World of Warcraft 2? I don't know. That's just going to depend on how the game hooks the players or not, on what basis and why it didn't land and why it did. It's just it's almost like lottery in some cases, but I mean, if you're investing so much money into a product, you should ensure that that product is going to not only fulfill the wants of your player base, but it's also going to improve so much upon the things that they liked from the previous game that they're going to move to the next game that you're releasing in that case, I think. It's basically admitting that they aren't providing a quality product. Sure, the insecurity, like the lack of confidence in the product, can be suspicious in that regard, yes. Waiting for Beyond Good and Evil remake. Hasn't that been in development, held for like many years already? Beyond Good and Evil probably won't happen with the current state of Ubisoft. Yeah, I don't know if they're they're restructuring the company right now as far as I know. So I don't know if that will actually happen anytime soon or even in the future. They might even cancel that. I mean, they were making a remake of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, and they said that the game that the remake was not canceled. But I mean, with the current state of the industry right now, they could cancel it. I mean, Microsoft chopped a bunch of projects. They canceled a bunch of things. And Microsoft is way bigger than Ubisoft. And Ubisoft is restructuring the company right now, so they might as well probably, cancel the remake for Beyond Good and Evil, and Prince of Persia probably will get Acts 2 if that's the case. I mean, it's more likely that's going to be the case, yes. What I meant was minimal compatibility support without closing the games. Just keep them forever unless they are that much of a money sink. Yeah, well, I don't know. Like I said, it still lands as support. Even if it is very minimal. Like, even if it costs them, I don't know, $1,000 a year to do some compatibility patches for their games, it still accounts as support. Endless support. So I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think so. But I'm confident that the community will take care of that. I am confident that will happen. People will find, listen, I've never developed any patches for any kind of games to be able to be playable or anything like that. But I remember when I had my potato PC back in the day, when I was a teenager, I moved sky, earth, fire, ice, and water. I moved through the oceans. I went against hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes to be able to run the game that I wanted to play. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it didn't work. I remember that one of the games that I wanted to play so badly at the time was Medieval 2 Total War. But my GPU was potato. It couldn't run the game. And I tried to find so many ways to play it, but it just couldn't run. That's the end of it. I remember Diablo 2, when I played Diablo 2 for the first time in my potato PC back in the day. It wasn't even my PC, it was my father's PC. The game didn't run at the beginning, but I found a way. I found a way for the game to run, and I found a way to run it. And I wasn't as tech savvy as I am today, but I found a way to run the bloody game. So trust me, even if we don't have the support from the companies, which is not something that is stipulated in the Stop Killing Games initiative, and I agree that it shouldn't be, because otherwise the companies are going to say this is endless support, and yeah, I understand that. We will make do with the community, trust me. They will find a way for us to play the games. Do you think gaming industry needs a full crash out to improve, basically? A full crash out? No, I don't think so. I think that's just too drastic to think. I mean, it's not like we're going to get another scenario like in the 80s, when with the release of E.T. and the Atari 5200 or something like that. I don't think that's going to be necessary. What I think needs to happen is this. This needs to happen. I think that the market right now is just it's just dry in terms of funding, because a lot of video games are not returning the investment. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of offer, not enough demand. Therefore, for venture capitalists, investment angels, even people that even random people, normal people like us that have like that might have $30 for disposable income, and we might think, oh well, maybe I can fund this game that I liked in Kickstarter. That's even an issue as well, because you don't have a certainty that the game is going to be released. So there's a lot of insecurity and distrust in the market right now in video games. People don't want to invest in video games, be it publishers, investors, even gamers themselves. They don't want to risk their money, whatever amount it is, because they feel like they could be betrayed or the game is not going to launch. Like we have that game, the Hytale, was it the game, right? Hytale, which was supposed to be like the Giga next version of Minecraft, and it got cancelled. Unfortunately, it got cancelled. Now, apparently, they're trying to make the game happen still, but as far as we know, it is cancelled. And this happens with so many other games, you know. But I think the market will eventually find balance again. But I don't think it needs to basically like be pulverized for it to rise from the ashes. We're just going through a rough patch, but I don't think the gaming industry needs to be brought to its knees and basically turn into ashes for it to rebuild again. No, that's too extreme. That's too extreme. The gaming industry is okay. There's a lot of good games right now. I don't think the gaming industry is okay, but I do agree that there's a lot of great games. Listen, there's great games all around. Older games and newer games, okay? Like right now, I just finished playing God of War 2018. Fantastic game. Fantastic game. I've been playing Space Marine 2. Fantastic game. It is a newer game. It's not the newest game, but it's a newer game. Fantastic game. Excellent game. One of the best Warhammer 40K games that you will play nowadays. I started playing Baldur's Gate Baldur's Gate 3 a couple of days ago. Now, I can't tell you if the game is incredible or not because I just barely started playing the game. But so far, I've been having a lot of fun with it. Newer game, not newest, but really good game. Like there are tons and tons of video games that you can play. You can even go back, play old retro games. Oh, you've never played a Zelda game. Well, you can play Ocarina of Time whenever you want right now. You could play Majora's Mask if you want to. You could do that. Oh, but I don't want to play those potato games. There's tons of games from 2018 forward or from 2020 forward that are on sale right now that are great games. So yeah, there are fantastic games that you could play right now. So I don't think we have a lack of games to play in quality wise. There are plenty of games that you could play. Oh, but I don't want to pay anything right now. I don't have money. You have Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is free to play. And let me tell you, Marvel Rivals is a fantastic game. It's an incredible game. And, you know, they have the battle passes and you can buy skins and whatnot. Yes. I mean, they need to make the money. It's a free-to-play game. But it's not like insane, you know? It's not like Diablo Immortal or something like that. And the skins are awesome, I have to say. I played the game with my friends. And although I've never purchased anything in the game, I think that the game has enough value in gameplay-wise, entertainment-wise, for you to buy a skin, at least. Maybe not buy the battle pass, but buy a skin, sure. As a support for the game, I think the game is worth supporting for. I don't play it that much. I just play it with other people, so I don't play it that much. But it is a fantastic game. There's plenty of games to play. There's plenty of offers of great games, very entertaining games to play, of all genres, newer and older games for you to play. You want to play a great RPG? But get the Mass Effect remaster. Oh, I want to play a newer RPG. Get Baldur's Gate 3. It was on sale on GOG. I bought it on sale on GOG. So the issue is not really about the quality of the games right now. It's just there's just a lot of the market. There it's all about what's the term of it? The demand. If you have too much offer and not enough demand, the market gets flooded. People lose confidence because you can sell the product fails. The investors and the publishers that invested the money in the development of the game lose confidence in the market. They make cuts. They fire people. They reduce the scope of the games. Well, some of them do not do that. They double down on that, but that's another conversation. And you know, the money in the market gets dry, and it's harder for games to be made. And even with that being the case right now, there's still plenty of games to play, which is crazy. I mean, a lot of people are laughing about known AAA companies doing good this and last year. Laughing about known AAA games doing good this and last year. Well, yeah, there's plenty of AAA companies that, you know, they release great games and they're doing great. Yeah. I mean, Rockstar, for example, it's been years since they put out a game and they just sell shark cards. And GTA 6 is probably their last game for at least 10 years, likely. Yeah, GTA 5 was... they milked that game so hard. It was insane. Yeah, that game lasted such a long time. That's true. Let's discuss the weather report. No. Killing Floor 3 is made by a decent sized company that aren't too greedy. It's launching very soon for a reasonable price. This $60, $70, $80, $90 games needs to stop. Well, here's the thing. I think the people is willing to pay whatever price as long as they feel the price that they paid was worth it. So you could have, it's all about the perception of the value. If I'm selling you a game that is $90, if people perceive the value of the game is $90, they will pay for it. But here's the caveat of that, right? How can you guarantee that your game is worth the $90 before you even play the game? That's the thing. I think that you can achieve that based on your previous reputation, like your previous games. If you are a company, let's put the example of From Software. From Software, I think it's a video game company that has had a lot of W's in the later years. You know, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth 3, Bloodborne, Night Rain. I hear it's a fun game. I hear that people is enjoying a lot of the game. So let's put From Software, for example. People find a lot of value in From Software games. They like the games a lot. Some people even devote their whole time to playing From Software games. So they have a reputation right now that they release really good games. So if they were to release, let's say for example they are developing Bloodborne 2. Let's put that example. I think if From Software were to price Bloodborne 2 at $80, even $90, people would buy the game. They will buy it. They will absolutely buy the game. Because even if the people think $90 is a lot of money, they will say, well, yeah, $90 is a lot of money, but I'll get my $90 worth of money in entertainment. Like, oh shit, yeah, $90? Well, it's a lot, but mate, it's Bloodborne 2, mate. Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm getting the game for $90. Fuck yeah. So I think sometimes the problem is not necessarily the price, is the perceived value that you get from whatever it is that you're getting. Like, for example, if you buy a $2,000 PC, for example, but you have a Ryzen 9 16-core processor and 9070 XT GPU and 64 gigs of RAM, and you can run pretty much any game you want in the bloody thing at 4K with 60 FPS, then you're going to say, fuck yeah. I mean, $2,000 is a lot of money, but I get to play whatever I want with the PC that I just bought, that I just built. It's a lot of money, but I can do whatever I want. People will pay the $2,000 because the return value that they're going to get from the $2,000 are going to exceed even their expectations of the perceived value. And I think it's the same with games. If Bloodborne 2 is announced tomorrow and it's priced $90, based on the reputation of From Software and how people love their games so much, they will pay the $90. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure that some people will bring the thing about Borderlands 4, and Andy Pitchford saying, well, if you're a real fan of the game, you will pay the $80 or whatever it is that they were saying the game is. That's different. Because if people is complaining that the game is $80, means that they don't think Borderlands have been in a state in value-wise that actually reflect that kind of money. So yeah. So Subnautica is in trouble. Oh yeah, that is the situation. Yeah, we haven't talked about Subnautica just yet, but yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. That's funny that you're a Subnautica helper. That's fun. It's funny username. 3 of the key of Subnautica 2 got fired to avoid a bonus that they earned, like 250 million or something. The people will stick to mods for a little bit. Yeah, why don't we talk about the Subnautica thing here? So TLDR is that Subnautica 2, or actually Krafton, which purchased the studio that developed Subnautica 1, which is Unknown Worlds Entertainment from Perfect World. Now Krafton owns Worlds Entertainment Incorporated, which is the studio that made the Subnautica 2. Fired 3, basically top tier positions in the company. Amongst them was the CEO, which was, one of the founding members of the studio, one of the main creators of Subnautica 1. Now, they acquired the company for $750 million back in 2021. And as far as I know, the agreement was that they were going to pay, I think I have the article here. Let me see. They were going to pay like 500 million first and 250 later or something like that. Those 250 are not related to the bonus that we will talk about in a second. But here's the thing. Krafton owns the company. They fired these three lads. And they were accused that by the people that got fired that Krafton was delaying the game to 2026 to avoid paying a 250 million bonus they promised to their employees if a certain profit threshold was reached for 2025. So obviously they are being accusing the company that they pushed the release of Subnautica 2 to 2026 to avoid paying the $250 million bonuses to their employees, including these three lads that they fired. Now, Krafton did a counter reply to that. All of this is allegedly, of course. This is still like to be reviewed, let's say. Krafton said that they fired these three figures, including the CEO, because they basically abandoned their duties for releasing the game. Another thing that the CEO said was that the game was ready to be released in early access for 2025, and Krafton is saying that that is not the case because this lad basically abandoned his duties to pursue a personal project, which apparently is like a movie he's making. So here's the thing. Can I accommodate in my mind the possibility that a corporation pushes the release of a game towards next year because they don't want to pay $250 million in bonuses to their employees? Let me think. Yes, of course I can see that being the case. That's so dirty. But yes, I can see Krafton doing something like that for sure. Now, can I see the what Krafton said about the people that they fired being true as well? Maybe. I don't really know. I think the only way we will be able to find out about this if there's a current employee right now in the studio that anonymously, I suppose, because of NDA and with the company, can say in sort of a whistleblower kind of thing that the game was actually ready to release this year in early access. In that case, the CEO will be correct that the game is in a state right now where it will be able to be released in early access, and therefore the $250 million in bonuses will apply. They will be obligated to pay the $250 bonuses, dollars in bonuses to their employees, including these three lads. I think both things can be true. But at the end of the day, this is he said, she said kind of thing, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I don't know if the game is ready to be released in early access right now or not. That's what Crafton is saying. No. The CEO is saying yes, it is ready to be released. I think we need more information right now to be really able to, at least in my case, I need more information to be able to make up my mind in this regard. Because even though, you know, overall we have like a negative bias towards corporations, sometimes they are right. Sometimes. Not most of the time, but sometimes they are right. So I think we have to wait. We have to wait. But obviously, if they moved the thing towards 2026, that's a pretty shitty thing to do. However, here's another thing. Let me look it up here. They did say, let me, oh my God, where is it? Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, okay, it's here it's in this Bloomberg article. Let's see it here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's right here. Crafton purchased Unknown Worlds in 2021 for 500 million, with an additional 250 million to be paid in 2026. Depending on the company's performance under an earnout agreement. Of that, 10% was earmarked for staff who were there at the time, according to paperwork seen by Bloomberg. The roughly 40 employees each received checks of varying amounts and the closing and in the 2 years that followed, that totaling $50 million, and were due to receive upwards of $25 million if the company hit those revenue targets. Each employee was told they would get a different amount, with most in the 6 or even 7 figures. Okay, from our, okay, yeah, we'll talk about that. Now, here's the thing. I can't, Crafton's projected, Okay, I think I did read that apparently they will pay the bonuses. Let me read here, this here. Early access. Don't know. Okay. Well, I can find the where I read that. But apparently Crafton did agree to pay the bonuses to the employees. Okay. Said what? Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not really sure if they're going to give the bonuses or not just yet. But that's the talk about the Subnautica thing. We have to wait. We will have to wait for more information in regards to that. It's in a kind of a he said she said kind of thing right now. But in addition to that, okay, let me read some of the comments here. Like 250 million or something, the people will stick to mods for a little bit. And what I've meant about the non-AAA devs is that a lot of popular games are popping up from smaller teams with smaller budgets, selling at smaller prices, and I'm all for it. Well, yeah, they have to play the market whatever way possible to get the gamers. Yeah, From Software had an insane run, Dark Souls 1 and 2 Elden Ring, and also Armored Core. Yeah, it was pretty good. Night Raid, I don't like that much. Okay. But listen, if they price Bloodborne 2 at $90, people will buy it. My $3,000 PC is exclusively for emulating 20 to 30 years old games. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, but it feels like it's like it sometimes. Have you heard of a fight with Seymour from Final Fantasy VII? Wait, what? Have you heard of the fight with Seymour from Final Fantasy X? No, I have not. But to close the Subnautica discussion for today, at least, we will see how this story develops, is that I think they're going to sell. I mean, the game will I think the game will sell well. I mean, I saw in Reddit that people was complaining and saying don't buy the game because they fired these people, or they did this, they're scummy or whatever. And here's what I think. Even if the company doesn't pay the employees the $250 million in bonuses when the game releases, that's not gonna matter. That won't matter. People will still buy the game. They will. And I'll tell you why. Because the value proposition of the game is the value proposition that gamers has been asking since the first game. They didn't deliver that value proposition in Below Zero, so they skipped that in a game, and they are building that value proposition in Subnautica 2, which was the bloody co-op. That's one of the most requested things that people wanted for Subnautica. We need co-op, we need multiplayer, and they are delivering that in Subnautica 2. So the game will sell. Obviously, if the game releases, they're going to do the early access, but if the game releases in a playable state that is good enough, and people like it and stuff, the game will sell, even if Krafton doesn't pay the $250 million in bonuses. By the time the game releases on early access, be it this year or next year or whatever, people would have forgotten about this already. And even if some people in Reddit complain, said, "Oh, don't remember they did this, they fired the original creators of the game, and they didn't pay the bonuses to their employees or whatever," they will still sell the game. I'm absolutely sure that's going to happen. Because listen, do you remember when Blizzard was like under investigation by the state of California by incredibly unhinged conduct inside the company? There was a lass that basically took her own life because I think it was because someone spread nude pictures of her or something like that. I don't remember well what was the problem. People stealing breast milk, a whole terrible culture inside the thing. People was mad about that. Oh my god, how could they, how dare they, or whatever. That's terrible. I'm not buying Blizzard games anymore. No more. Blizzard is done. They're out. They're crashing down. No more Blizzard games, and we're not buying more games. Really? Wasn't Diablo 4 like their fastest selling game? And then the World of Warcraft expansion became like their fastest selling game as well. And Diablo 4 made like $1 billion like in the first couple of months. If that is if that reflects the no, we will not buy more Blizzard games or whatever, is that, then yeah, Subnautica is going to sell $3 billion in sales. Probably. Because what happened in Blizzard is not even close. Or sorry, what is happening in Subnautica is not even remotely close to what happened with Blizzard back in, 2020, 2021 or whatever. Not even close. And they still made bank with Diablo 4 and all the other games that they released. Diablo Immortal, Jesus, that was insane. So they will sell the game whatever happens. I can assure you that. Now, obviously, my desire is that the Blood employees get the bonuses they were promised. But, unfortunately, whatever happens, Subnautica 2 will sell. It will be successful. They will make the money. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So, we already talked about the Zelda. Let's talk about this a little bit. Absolutely, Bloodborne will sell ridiculous. Do you think GTA 6 is going to be $100? I mean, I like GTA, but I'm not the kind of person that played like, role play or anything like that. I just played the campaign, and I play a little bit of the online, doing heists and stuff like that, but I wasn't really into the game. Personally, I wouldn't pay the $100, but I think GTA 6 and GTA, the Grand Theft Auto franchise has the leverage to pull a $100 price tag. I think so, yeah. I think people would pay the $100 because GTA is huge, mate. It's like this GTA 6 could become the biggest game in the planet. I'm not kidding. GTA 6 could become the biggest game in the planet. Bigger than Fortnite, bigger than Call of Duty, bigger than everything. And people that play GTA 5, roleplay, RP, that has been playing the game for a long time, they will pay the $100. They will pay it. So yeah, my answer is that they could I don't know if they're going to for sure. I don't know if they're going to price the game at $100, but I do think that there's plenty of people that will be willing to pay $100 for GTA 6. I do think so, yes. Co-op, you mean versus knowing my friends? Well, in your case, sure, that could be the case, yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, I do think so, yeah. So yeah, $100, it could happen. Let's talk about this briefly. Tomb Raider composer sentenced for COVID loan fraud. If you thought that in the video game music composing world there's no drama, well, there you have it. You have some drama. Tomb Raider composer Peter Connolly have been jailed for fraudulently obtaining multiple COVID loans. Connolly inflated his company turnover in order to obtain 2 bounce-back loans. Connolly told the UK Insolvency Service that he had been given the opportunity to reimagine the music from Tomb Raider. Jeez. Per 18 July 2025, UK government Connolly legitimately obtained £22,000 or 30K in US dollars bounce back loan in 2020 to support his company, Peter Connolly Limited. 1 month later, Connolly applied for a second bounce back loan at a different bank when businesses were only allowed 1 loan. The second loan amount to £37,500, which is like $50,000, $50,000, and was obtained by Connolly, substantially inflating his company turnover. Initially reported his company's 2019 turnover to be £150,000, $200K, but the UK's insolvency service later found the real number to be about £50,000, around $78,000. That's insane. The bro tried to game the system during COVID. Fuck around and find out, I suppose. That's terrible. Even listen, not even video game composers are outside of the scope of the drama, mate. they'll still do dirty things like this one. I mean, why would you do something like that? That's terrible. Okay, let's talk about this as well. Assassin's Creed live action series greenlit at Netflix. Netflix has greenlit its live action Assassin's Creed series. Robert Patino and David Weiner will serve as creators, showrunners, and executive producers. The news comes 8 years after initial reports of a series and 5 years after the confirmation of the Ubisoft partnership. I don't know. I have okay. Let's keep reading a little bit to find more context here. A high-octane thriller centered on the secret war between two shadowy factions, one set on determining mankind's future through control and manipulation, while the other fights to preserve free will. The series follows its characters across pivotal historical events as they battle to shape humanity's destiny. This is a statement released by Netflix about the show. Assassin's Creed is not in a good position right now, I think. Especially with the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And they haven't been releasing games that really are enthralling for their player base and people, that kind of gravitate the Assassin's Creed games. I myself am that kind of gamer. I gravitate around the Assassin's Creed games, meaning that the last game that I played completely was Black Flag, and I think I did play a little bit of Brotherhood, but I didn't finish the game. Like I haven't felt the want of playing an Assassin's Creed game for a long time. So them releasing a live action, yes, this is live action, a live action series in Netflix. I mean, quite honestly, I hope it works, but I think that they need to do something incredibly safe. And safe, I'm not talking about PC or something like that. I'm talking about doing a live action series of the Ezio storyline, something like that. If they start the live action series with Ezio, which is the safest thing they could do, it could work. I think it could work. Obviously, if they do it in a way that is enthralling, that is faithful to the story of Ezio and the video game and everything. If they do it like that, sure, I think it could actually work. If they start to do like if they get way too creative with it, it might actually backfire. And here's the thing. This has been 8 years in talks and development. And 5 years after the confirmation. Like 5 years since Ubisoft confirmed the partnership. So this has been a long time in the works. So they need to do something safe. In my opinion, they need to do Ezio, the Ezio Auditore arc first. Something super safe, and I think people will watch it. But if they make fictional characters for the series only or something like that, I think it will get canceled after the first seasons or something like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that would be the case. And also, they did a Tomb Raider animated series in Netflix. I watched the first episode and I knew it was going to fail, and it did, because I do think that that the Tomb Raider animated series was cancelled. Actually, Tomb Raider animated series. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Well, they're saying it's allegedly cancelled. Apparently, the Tomb Raider animated series in development at Amazon for Prime Video is reportedly cancelled. Oh, it wasn't Netflix? I thought it was Netflix. Wait a second. No, yeah, it was Netflix. Oh, okay. I understand. Apparently, Amazon was going to release another Tomb Raider animated series, and it got canceled as well. Yeah. That is unfortunate. Okay. Now, the final thing that I wanted to talk about is the new Mortal Kombat movie. Okay. Now, personally, this reboot kind of well, I don't know if they're going to do like a trilogy or something like that of the movies. The first reboot was released in what, like in 2021, 2020 or something. I think the movie was okay. Okay, it's like the meme. I think it's all right. The first Mortal Kombat movie, I mean, it's all right. Let me see let's see the movie trailer for the first movie, just to refresh memory. Oh shit. Oh god. Oh, there we go.
First learned about this 7 years ago. On a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities.
Okay, so yeah, in the first movie,
when we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman ability.
In the first movie, this lad is the main character of the movie. This is I think this is a character they made up for the movie. This is not part of any Mortal Kombat video game, as far as I know. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a long time, but I do think that this character was actually created just for the movie and was the main character.
It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament.
Waiting for Johnny Cage's Wild Punch? Yeah.
Of champions.
Lamau, I mean, it's alright, overrated as fuck. Yeah.
I think it's an invitation to fight for something known.
This is cool. And this actor is a fantastic actor. especially in Shogun. I don't know if you watch
I'm
Shogun.
Sonia.
He was amazing in that.
I'm Liu Kang.
So you know it's cool because they bring in the OG characters from the first game: Liu Kang, Kano, Sonya, Sub-Zero, Scorpion,
Name's Jax.
Jax,
Kung Lao.
Kung Lao.
Lord Raiden.
This is cool.
The fate of Earth is in our
This is the
hands.
first movie though. 2021.
No matter how many of my people you put in the ground, we will not fail. Kill them.
Shang Tsung. Okay, this was one of the problems with the movie. Bringing Goro as a disposable character. It was so funny because he was like a mob spawn. He appeared out of the blue in this place in a city or something to fight the main character. He got defeated and that was it. They burned the Goro cartridge like that. That was one of the main issues of the movie.
I am Sub-Zero.
The rivalry in between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, yeah, that's fine.
Kano wins. You fucking beauty.
Okay, so the first movie, like I said, it's alright. I mean, it's alright. The main issue with the first movie was that the main character was made up for the movie. The main character, yes. He doesn't exist in the games. So, I mean, obviously, like you have a whole mythos built for you already from the games, and you're going to create a character. And I think you're going to create a character that is not in the games at all. It's just in the movie. And I kind of understand why they did that, because probably they wanted to make a character that people that is not into Mortal Kombat, they don't play the video games, they don't have any kind of reference about it. They would have a character that they don't need to any previous knowledge about. It's just in the movie. I think the character was created for that purpose, to attract, to have a character in the movie that audiences that don't know anything about Mortal Kombat could relate to, because the other people, the Mortal Kombat fans are going to be like, oh well, this is Sonya, this is something other, and some people will say like, okay, well, I don't know anything about this. Oh, but I don't know who this character is, and they will say, oh really? Yeah, apparently it's just in this movie. Oh shit, okay, well, at least there's something that other people doesn't know that I will know as well as them. Something like that. But I think that wasn't a terrible call, because first of all, let's say you can do that, but don't make this character the main character of the movie, mate. Don't make it the main character. Like, if you want to make a character that is only in the movie, was created only for the movie, okay, fine. Because of that, fine. You want to attract, you have to have a character for, like a regular Joe that doesn't know anything about Mortal Kombat and can actually connect with the lore of a new character through the movies. I don't think that's such a bad thing to do, to be honest. Fine, do it. But don't make it the main character, because the most of the people that is going to watch a Mortal Kombat movie, it's going to be people that like Mortal Kombat, that play the games. And mind you as well that Mortal Kombat is what, like 30 plus years old? It has a long time of fans of all kinds of ages, you know, 40 plus ages. They're in the people in their 40s, people in their 30s, people in their 20s, people in their teens. So you have this huge spectrum of people of all generations, of all kinds of generations, going into to watch the movie because they play the movie, they know the lore, or maybe they are casual players, but they know who Sonya is, they know who Goro is, because they are playable characters. Maybe they don't know the lore of Sonya. Maybe they don't know she is like you know, like a detective, like a police enforcer or whatever. They don't know Liu Kang. They don't know they don't know the backstory of Liu Kang. They don't know the backstory of Shang Tsung. They don't know really that he's the sorcerer, and they don't know that Goro has won 9 consecutive Mortal Kombat tournaments or everything like that. Maybe they don't know that, the casual Mortal Kombat players, but they know the characters, and they're going to see them, you know, fight and have awesome fights in a tournament, by the way. But they went a whole another way. Now, I think the movie had some really cool things, like for example, the origin story of the feud in between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I think that was cool to incorporate. But yeah, burning the character, like they did Goro so dirty. So dirty. It was a mob spawn towards the middle to more than a little bit further than the middle of the movie. They did Goro dirty. They made a main character that longtime fans and casual fans of the movie couldn't relate to because, okay, who is this? And they didn't make it about a tournament. I think that those are the 3 main things where it failed. So, to be fair, it wasn't like a whole catastrophe. I think some things about the movie were really cool, but those 3 main issues were huge. Goro, the thing with Goro was like, man, no, why you did Goro so dirty? That was terrible. But anyways, I digress. So now, the new the trailer for the second movie released. You watch Final Destination 6? No, I haven't seen what Final Destination 6, but I hear that it's really good. Damn, they did Goro dirty, mate. They did him so dirty, it's crazy. Hollow Knight is best, yes? What the hell? That was so random. Did someone send OST in Discord to Friday VGM battle? I have to check. I haven't checked today. So let's watch the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer to see how it is different. I already watched it, but let's break it down.
You're Johnny Cage. I love Citizen Cage.
Uno mas, thanks.
You're Johnny Cage. I love Citizen Cage when I was a kid.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
They should do a reboot.
Nobody wants that. Shit went out in the 90s.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen to fight.
Tell me you're not some crazy fans. How are you doing that?
Are you coming or what?
Okay, so basically, let's put it right there to talk a little bit about this. So first of all, they're making Johnny Cage the main character of the second movie. Huge W. Huge W. I think they understood what was the issue with the first movie, which is the one that I just mentioned. Making the main character a made-up character for the movie. They are making Johnny Cage the main character for the second one. Now, so I saw some people complaining that, you know, Carl Urban looks too old for Johnny Cage and blah, 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 or whatever. But the thing is that this actually plays a role in the movie as well, because this is not Johnny Cage in his prime. This is the washed up Johnny Cage era, so to speak. So I think the casting of Carl Urban is completely fine for that premise alone. This is not prime top peak Johnny Cage in his 20s. This is washed up Johnny Cage in his older years.
Where the hell am I?
It's called Mortal Kombat. It's a fighting tournament. To the death.
Okay. We're getting Shao Kahn this time. And the costume design looks really good. Looks really good. And Sonya is talking about Mortal Kombat now as a tournament. Okay? So apparently we will have the tournament this time. But we will have to see.
Fuck that.
This is a war for the fate of your world.
You dickheads in or what? I'm not some champion. I don't have transformer arms. Or shoot lightning bolts. This shit's got nothing to do with me. I'm an actor.
I find you annoying.
Not the face.
Okay, some people was complaining about Baraka and the movement of the mouth. I personally don't have a strong feelings towards this, but I can kind of see their point.
It's time to become the hero you were meant to be. All right.
That shot looks great. And Shao Kahn looks really menacing. Oh shit. Buffering problems.
The hero.
Oh, there we go.
Get over here!
Only the strong survive.
That's awesome.
Finish him!
Damn. The quality went down to 140 feet, 144p or something. Okay. Well, there we have it. I think this trailer is a huge W, especially in comparison to the trailer from the previous movie, as we saw. Like I said, making the Johnny Cage the main character. Shao Kahn is in the movie. The movie apparently is about a tournament, about the Mortal Kombat tournament, as Sonya says in the trailer. We have all the returning characters. Apparently we have a Scorpion fighting Noob Saibot. I think that's the character he's fighting. Might be wrong. I mean, they fix a bunch of things. So I think the movie looks to be very promising, because they fix most of the things that I did say was wrong with the first movie. So we will have to wait and see when it releases. It releases on October 24th. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the Zelda movie, but that's going to be in 2027. So that's a long time. It's going to be a couple of years for that to happen. But yep, that's gonna be it for today. Let's unless there's another piece of news you want me to talk about, I'm going to end the stream right now. Okay. Thank you so much for coming in today. I hope you have a great end of your weekend, a great Sunday. Obviously, a friendly reminder that to be on the look for my next video, my YouTube video this coming week. And of course, next Friday, we have a video game music tournament. And if you want to suggest a video game music for the tournament, join my Discord. The link is in the description. Just tap. If you're watching on mobile, just tap the description, and at the end there's going to be a link that says Discord. Or in PC, if you're in your PC or your laptop or whatever, you can do the same. Just expand description at the end. There's a bunch of buttons that says Patreon, Discord, whatever. Just press the Discord one and it will take you to the Discord. You can suggest the songs in the music share section, okay? That is in case you want me to do a community-based tournament. If we don't get enough suggestions for the community tournament, we will just do a pre-made one next Friday, okay? So with that being said, thank you very much. Thank you simply for the membership, all right? Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You